I think I've been in local government IT for probably the last 15 years. And I think I've probably seen presentations similar to that for most of that time. And digitisation for local government has been a promise for a long time, but rarely a reality. And looking particularly at your presentation, Santos, my initial thoughts, or my thoughts when I would see that presentation before was, there's no way that that our systems will support that. There's no way that I can afford the software development that it would take. There's no way that I can afford the tier 1 systems that would run it, and there's certainly no way that that system would integrate with our existing legacy systems. But I can honestly say that that since our Salesforce journey, and since we're getting towards the middle of that journey, I can do all of the things that Santos outlined there. We do that for every single one of our CRM categories. Our customers can log their own requests. We use a location, and the process is automated all the way through our system. And we did that from start to finish in just under 5 months. And if I want to add additional functionality to my system now, I can do it in a few weeks, as opposed to what would have taken us a couple of years in the past. So I can put my hand on my heart and say that we are now seeing the reality coming from that promise. Journey is a long one and difficult to fit into 10 minutes, but I'll do my best. Wanting to outline the problem that confronted us 3 years ago when we started this journey. So we had absolutely no online services. I had a council who were desperate to put them in, and a community who had a real want for us to match the services they were getting from other organisations that they were dealing with. We had a huge number of complicated, time-consuming and costly manual processes. We had no support for our field staff. It was impossible for us to develop in-house solutions. We just didn't have the budget or the time to do so. And we're a medium-sized council, and we have an IT budget to match. We didn't want just to take our lot. We wanted to try and improve it. We knew that, that products like Salesforce were out there. We hadn't seen other councils do the kind of thing that we were looking to do, but we wanted to test the market. So we went through and did a tender process for a proof of concept. We got our problem statement, and we basically put that out to market. And we said to the market, come back to us with a proposal on how you would develop a particular use case that we had for them. And we chose a use case that was particularly complicated and difficult, and had all of the elements that we wanted to show that a new system could do. We put it out to tender, but we only guaranteed the successful tender, the successful vendor, the work to do the proof of concept. And we're clear with them that we then had a gateway point where, if the proof of concept worked, we would then go on to the rest of the implementation. The good news was that the proof of concept went far, far better than anybody had expected, to the point where our proof of concept, actually, the savings that we've made out of that proof of concept effectively pay for our Salesforce license. We took the work that we'd done with the proof of concept, and we built a foundation. So we wanted to make sure that that Salesforce was available to the majority of our staff. We wanted to move towards a better CRM system to give us all the benefits that we talked about for our customers. So we put that CRM system in place. We put together our customer portal to give us our customers that front end, and we did the basic integration to attach Salesforce onto our corporate systems. Now we have At that point, we had about 50% of our staff using Salesforce and getting a huge amount of the benefit from that. So our field staff could work in the field using the Salesforce One app. In fact, before we rolled that out, I had action officers downloading the app of their own volition and phoning up and asking how to log into it, and we're using it without any kind of rollout for us. So it was just literally out of the box functionality that the guys could use without any training, and it was something that they took on themselves. Once we had the foundation in, we now have the ability to put in a huge amount of use cases. And there are literally 100 possibilities for us to use Salesforce to digitize and automate. So far, we have introduced our online rates payment system. We were told by Civica and by Tech One that it was impossible to allow our customers to fully manage their rates online, but we managed to do that in about 2 months, so that our customers can now completely manage their rates. They can request payment arrangements, they can do direct debits, they can pay online. The whole suite of functionality is available to them. Very shortly, customers will be able to book their facilities, to book halls or tennis courts, to be able to and pay for those through the portal. And we have implemented and automated our building inspections process through Salesforce. And we're typically finding that 4 to 6 weeks is enough to get these additional functionalities out and online. I wanted to cover briefly on some of the challenges that we found. And a point that Clive made before, yes, Salesforce can give you a positive use case for individual processes, but where it really comes into its own is when you can repeat those processes for a large number of use cases. You pay for Salesforce once, everybody has it available to them. It doesn't cost you a lot more to build additional functionality on top of that platform. We had some issues selling Salesforce internally, and it's around the issue with the name of Salesforce. So people who don't know assume it's about selling stuff. People who do know something about Salesforce assume that it's just a CRM system. But for us, what Salesforce is a business automation and digitalization tool. It allows us to automate our business. For the first time, we can use technology to make our processes more efficient and more automated. We used to have a problem where, because of the systems and budgets that we had, the answer to anybody wanting to innovate was almost always no. Now our problem is that we have no reason to say, we can never say yes, and now we have no reason to say no. Salesforce does not make for a quiet life for a CIO, but it's an amazingly refreshing problem to have. And there is an issue with complexity, and for every use case we add complexity. So it's so important for us to repeat functionality that we've used before. So we have one payment process, we have one set of integration processes, and we reuse and reuse and reuse those. But it is a challenge and something that we have to continually manage with our Salesforce implementation. The results so far, the proof of concept that we did which was around our on-site sewage management systems. We have a lot of our customers who aren't connected to the sewage system, and managing their licenses was very time consuming and expensive for us. We paid $50,000 for our proof of concept. We increased our revenue by $30,000 a year by finding things that we could bill for that we weren't billing for because we'd improved our data, and we've reduced our costs, our staff time, by $60,000 a year. So every year we get a $90,000 dividend for that 50,000 one-off proof of concept. And as I said before, pays for our Salesforce licenses for all of the other things that we're doing. Our customers can manage their rates online. As I said, we were told that was impossible. 25% of our requests are now logged through the portal, which has saved us a huge amount of time in the contact center, and we've been able to repurpose a number of our staff. The field staff, particularly people like the building inspectors, no longer need to spend a long time coming back to the office to do their admin work. And as you saw from Clive's slide, our area is simply enormous. And just the saving in that, in staff not needing to come back into the office, for them to be able to do their work in the field, saves about 2 or 3 hours for each officer for each day. So a huge saving there. As I said, our customers will shortly be able to book their facilities online. That's going to be a huge bonus for them and will save us a lot of time internally. Our estimate just from what we do now is that we are getting a saving of around $350,000 per year from our automation. And I guess the good news for us is that we are simply just getting started. There are thousands more use cases and a huge opportunity for us to use the system that we already own, that we already understand, to make those savings through automation. Okay, that's it from me. Thank you.